Today we are going to work on chapter 3, which is about logistics efficiency through the management of the costs. Logistics costs can be defined as all costs that are part of or incurred by a product or service from the creation of raw materials or resources to the point where the product is consumed. So the whole timeline from when we get the raw materials through production, through product development, purchase, stock, production and distribution and customer service, the cost of that will have to be included in the price of the costs. But what we see is that not all of these different categories gives equal value to the product. We're always talking about the value of a product, so the value for the customer. Does the customer see the value of us having a purchase or of the stock? This can be illustrated by this graph. What we see in the bottom is the cost and time, so all the resources that we put into the creation of a product. On the other axis, we have the customer value, so the perceived value from the customer. So the growth of value is not necessarily proportional with the cost incurred. So the cost we have for these different elements are not necessarily equal to the value the customer sees or the customer experience. In this example, we see that things like product development and customer service are where the line for customer value rises higher. Whereas if we look at purchasing, the value for the customer value, so the perceived value, does not increase as much as the time and costs. A horizontal or flat line means that the resources used do not make the customer happier. So whenever we put money into a product, whenever we use time and money for a product, it should always be in creating value for the customer. When we talk about cost, we talked about fixed and variable costs. A fixed cost is costs that are independent of production and sales service. So fixed costs are all the costs we have no matter what we do. The rent for the building is the same whether we produce 10 items or 100. The production equipment, a machine costs what a machine costs. So we can't divide fixed costs on sales volume. These costs we call variable costs. These costs go up and down depending on the activity of the product. If we look at the fixed cost, we see that it looks somewhat as steps. These steps represent all the expenses we have, all the investments. So every time a step rises, it's because we invested something. It's a one-time thing, and then we see the fixed cost settling at a new point. The variable costs, on the other hand, shows us the relationship between volume and costs. So if we produce a lot, we have a lot of costs. This could be because we use more material or we have a higher stock. Examples of these are illustrated by the following. Here we have two companies. If we look at the drawings on the left side, we see company A and company B. The flat line in the middle represents the fixed costs. That one is fixed all the time through this. In the middle we see the total cost, and at the top we see the turnover. Whenever the two companies could be examples of different types of companies. In one case we see that the fixed costs are very high, and on the other we see that the fixed costs are very low. High fixed cost could be if we have a very, very big company. We have a big factory where rent is high, we have a lot of machinery. Where company B could be an internet company where we don't have that many fixed costs. If we then move to the right side of the picture, we again see we have company A and company B. What we see here is the break-even point. The break-even point is when the turnover is bigger than the total costs. So if we look on the left side of the break-even point, we have a light green area. This light green area is a risk area. This is where we spend more money than we earn. Where the darker green is where we make money. So this is where we make more money, we have a higher turnover than the total costs. Talking about the costs, we talk about direct and indirect costs. Direct cost can be linked directly to a specific product. This could be the raw materials, it could be labor hours, where indirect costs are all the other costs we have of the company. It cannot be linked to one specific product. This could be administration, cleaning, or the canteen operating. So when we need to find the price of a product, what should the customer pay for the product? We have to divide all the expenses, all the costs we have into every product that we produce. So we have to map the costs per product. We have to distribute all the fixed and all the indirect costs to each and every product that we're producing. One way of doing this is by this model called direct product profitability, or DPP. What we do with the DDP is that we distribute all expenses, all costs into the different products that we are making. So we divide administration costs and other fixed or indirect costs into how many products we make. We divide them up. In this way we can treat them and analyze them more as direct cost. This makes it easier for us to see what the costs have been of producing each and every one of our products. Thank you.